A doctor is headed to check one of his patients. The young man arrived to the hospital in a comatose state after a car crash. There has been no improvement for a month, and his family is considering taking him off of artificial life support. The doctor would find himself in awe when he saw the young man smiling and fully awake. The young man tells the doctor a story of a well dressed nurse that came and told them, "I am gonna give you a shot. This will not hurt, not even a bit." However, there was no nurses on deck that day checking on the young man. Uy, cucuy, welcome back to the Mexighost Tales. I am your host, Danny Chavez, here to bring you more Mexican ghost stories, urban legends, true crime cases, and more in the Mexighost Tales. I want to ask you for a favor. If this is your type of content, please help us out by subscribing to the channel, leaving us a comment, and like the video if you enjoy it. Let us know what stories would you like us to feature in this channel, and we are also available on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as the Mexighost. Make sure you go and check us out over there as well. Today we have the legend of La Planchada. This one is another ghost story classic from Mexico. This one started in Mexico City, and at the time it was known as Distrito Federal or El DF. Yeah, something like that. The legend started back in the 19th century, and although her presence has been witnessed by many all around different hospitals in Mexico, La Planchada's first accounts come out of Hospital Juárez in Mexico City. The legend claimed that a young nurse by the name of Eulalia was sent to this medical facility to work as a nurse. She was very high maintenance. She wore an impeccable looking uniform and stood out because she always ironed it out, hence the nickname La Planchada, which translates to the iron one. This is kind of someone telling that they are well dressed. It's kind of like, míralo, anda bien bañado y bien planchado. It's kind of like slang for you're looking fly, you're looking good, or whatever the kids use these days. Eulalia was a dedicated nurse. She was very diligent with her duties and took very good care of her patients. She was known for that. She stood out for that. Soon, she met a doctor by the name of Joaquin. They started working the same shift, and Eulalia felt attracted to the young doctor. But Joaquin had quite a reputation amongst the hospital personnel. Some of Eulalia's co-workers advised her against starting a relationship with Joaquin, as he was known to be basically a player. He would mess around with nurses, and once he had no need for them, he would dispose of them and would end up breaking their hearts. Nevertheless, Joaquin asked Eulalia if she wanted to be his girlfriend. Eulalia said yes, and they started dating. Eulalia fell hard for Joaquin, and in return, the doctor would woo the young woman. He even asked her to get married. He proposed to her. He said that they would get married in 15 days' time. For a time, it seemed as if Eulalia would be the one to hold him down. Joaquin asked her if she could iron out one of his suits, as he had to leave the city that night to go to a conference. Eulalia was surprised. They had never talked about it, and Joaquin had never kept things from her, or at least she thought. Regardless, she did what she was asked, and later that night, Joaquin left. A few days passed by, and a male nurse asked Eulalia out. He asked her if she would accompany her to a party. Eulalia said that no, that she was actually waiting for Joaquin's return. The man was surprised, and he told Eulalia, Dr. Joaquin left for good. He got married. He left the city. He's not coming back. Eulalia was devastated. and soon she started to neglect her patients. Her passion for nursing disappeared. She started being careless, and she stopped taking care of her own appearance. She fell into a depression. She got hospitalized, and a few weeks after that, she passed away due to the sorrow caused by Joaquin. However, Eulalia's spirit is said to roam around the different hospitals in Mexico. There are many stories of patients and hospital personnel alike that claim that La Planchada comes to make sure they receive their medication on time and even fills out the medical reports. This is said that when she died, she had repented of the neglect she had her patients endured. Other occasions, the graveyard shift personnel have seen her walking the hallways of the hospitals. Some nurses and even doctors have followed her to the ladies' room. Once in there, she disappears. She is always described the same way. She wears an extremely clean and ironed out uniform, but no one knows who she is. Patients that have long stays in the hospital have even had conversations with her, and there's various versions of comatose patients waking up after La Planchada have approached them and given them a shot. Those patients that have had conversations with La Planchada have always said that she just wants somebody to hear her out, to hear her story out. And once they do, she disappears. Sometimes she goes into the bathroom in the rooms, and the patients are actually waiting for her. A doctor once said that he was attending an 84-year-old lady. He was not expecting for the lady to make it through the night. The next morning, he was surprised to find the lady alive with a vial placed in her arm, and she was covered head to toe shaking. When the doctor asked her what was happening, the lady told him that a nurse came and put the serum on her arm and then walked into the restroom, and she never came back. But she was worried because she couldn't see the face of said nurse. As you can see by now, the encounters with La Planchada have had a positive outcome, but there's also other encounters with the ghostly nurse that are not so kind. This side of Eulalia claims that she administers medication to hospital patients even if the medication has already been administered by hospital personnel in an effort to overdose them. There are also versions that claim that she attacks the sickly people and starts choking them to swiftly end their lives. This is due to the dark part that is also attached to La Planchada. The legend claims that La Planchada was a horrible person and that she treated her patients in the worst way possible. She couldn't even take care of her own mother. When her mother fell ill, she died, and La Planchada blamed herself for her mother's demise. This made the young nurse lose her mind, and shortly after, costing her her own life. Now, this account does say that La Planchada was indeed someone that was evil to the core. There's also many stories when the nurses see her, someone in her family falls ill. Whichever the case, the version of La Planchada that different people get is, according to the legend, part of the karma that they have. So, if you are well behaved, normally La Planchada will take care of you. If you were a bad person, something else happens. There's also the claim that she shows up only to take people's soul. That once they die in the hospitals, she is sent as an emissary of death. And with that, we come to the conclusion of another Mexighost Tales. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I would really like to see how you're doing. Also, if you have suggestions, Leave them down there as well. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as the Mexighost. And we will see you on the next one, where we will explore another part of Mexico's other history.
Y celebraremos una gran fiesta mexicana juntos.
¿De qué fiesta hablas?
Noviembre 2.
¿Y qué celebran?
A los muertos.